Hello, great people. Nigerians are calling President Bola Tinubu a Yahoo boy based on the disparity in his promise and the performance of his government. So much so that people are creating pictures of the president dressed like a Yahoo boy, dressed like a gangster, and I'll be sharing the pictures with you. The picture is a reaction to Nigeria's president letter to the Senate and House of Representatives seeking approval for the borrowing of 21.5 billion US dollars, 15 billion Japanese yen, 2.1 billion euros, 65 million euros as grant, 6.45 billion World Bank loan, and 2 billion foreign currency bond program. So Nigerians are reacting to this humongous loans, grant, call it whatever name you like, and people are saying that this is putting the future of the Nigerian child in jeopardy. Before I go into the loan proper, before I dissect all the issues and unpack it for you, let me say the reason why Nigerians are further calling President Bola Tinubu a Yahoo boy. They are saying that Tinubu will give you one and take back five. That seems to have been the modus operandi of this government, that Tinubu will say A and he will do Z. And they are saying that, okay, it was Bola Tinubu before he became president that said, let the poor breathe. Don't suffocate them. But since he became president, the poor can hardly breathe. In fact, they are suffocated. And they are saying that President Bola Tinubu promised renewed hope, but largely Nigerians have been living in a state of hopelessness, destitution, hardship, and suffering. So people are saying that the disparity in his promise and the performance of his government shows what we can call that, oh, this is a pure scam. That so people are saying that his government is a scam to Nigerians. Is Bola Tinubu a Yahoo boy in your own opinion? I look forward to your impression in the comment section. Now, let us go into the loan proper. And I think I need to read it to you again for you to know the amount we are talking about here. It is 21.5 billion US dollars, 21.5 billion US dollars, 15 billion Japanese yen, 2.1 billion euros, 65 million euros as grant, 6.45 billion World Bank loan, 2 billion foreign currency bond program. Well, I wonder that how long we want to go this route, and the money that we have been borrowing in the past, the loan, the grant, the aid, just name it, anything you like, those money, what has been the impact on the life of Nigerians? And if we borrow this year, definitely are we still going to borrow next year? So if you want to fund the budget and you decide to kind of like accrue all these loans and debt and bonds, definitely next year are you going to do the same thing? And you can see all these amounts that I just read to you. Unfortunately, the truth is the truth. The Akpabio-led Senate and the Tajuddin Abbas-led House of Representatives will pass it as requested by the president. The problem is that there won't be thorough scrutiny. That legislative scrutiny that is the hallmark of a democracy will not be there. And the reason why it will not be there, which I will come to in a moment, you remember the word budget padding and the kind of like exotic life that Nigerian politicians live. I will come to that in a moment. Before I go to that, let me ask, where is the savings from subsidy? Let us do an arithmetic. You see, in this particular video, what we'll do is we won't use a kind of like bogus economic jargons, because I know that some of you have not sat in an economic class. So I'll be using simple illustration to make meaning out of the government's action and inaction. First, let us do a simple arithmetic. It doesn't matter your political affiliation or your ethnic group. This is just common knowledge. When President Bola Tinubu became the president on his inauguration day, he said fuel subsidy is gone. He said Nigeria cannot be able to continue subsidizing petrol because Nigeria does not have money. So petrol moved from about less than 200 naira to over 1,000 naira. And the money is being saved by the government. That means that Nigerian government under Bola Tinubu is no longer paying subsidy. And take that as one. Two, Nigerian government said that they cannot continue to subsidize electricity. So the Nigerian government decide that, well, you have to pay for the value of electricity. Take that as two. Now, the third one is the foreign exchange. Nigerian government said that Naira must find its true value to the dollar. And if you want dollar, definitely you must be able to pay the real cost of the exchange rate for that particular dollar. So Nigerian government also stopped subsidizing the Naira to the dollar. And when Nigerian government under Bola Ahmed Tinubu did all this, it means that Nigerian government is now earning more money. Imagine on a liter, if you move it from about 185 to over 1,000 naira, look at how much Nigerian government is saving per liter. Look at the subsidy on electricity. Look that has been removed. The subsidy on foreign exchange that has been removed. It means that Nigerian government now have enough money. Now, if you have enough money, and it is when you have that enough money that you are now borrowing. So you can see that, where is the connection in all this? Before you remove fuel subsidy, we were borrowing. Before you remove the subsidy on electricity, we were borrowing. Before you remove the subsidy of the naira to the forex, to the dollar and pounds and euro, we were borrowing. And now you have removed all this subsidy. It means you are earning more money. So why is it that when you are earning more money is when you are even borrowing more money? And that is why some people are saying that this government, there seems to be something, about this government that is not kind of like arithmetically correct, in the sense that why would you be borrowing more? And I just hope that what Bola Ahmed Tinubu is borrowing for is recurrent, is not recurrent expenditure. There are two kinds of expenditure. There's recurrent expenditure and there's capital expenditure. Capital expenditure is that you want to spend on projects, you want to spend on things that are meaningful, that are impactful. Now, recurrent expenditure is money that you will have to spend and respend again, like payment of salary. So if you are borrowing for recurrent expenditure, definitely it will lead Nigeria into trouble, because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said he want to acquire the bond to settle pension and arrears, and he tagged that human capital development, and that the law allows him to borrow for human capital development. But the question is that if you borrow to settle the to settle the pension and arrears, definitely, are you still going to borrow next year? Are you going to borrow in the next 2 years? Are you going to borrow in the next 5 years? Now, this is where the problem is. You see, if there is no report of budget padding, definitely maybe some Nigerians won't be displeased with the government. You will recall that recently Peter Obi, candidate of the Labour Party in the 2022 presidential election, and Budget, a budget scrutiny organization, raised an alarm that they detected over 7 trillion naira budget padding. So if over 7 trillion naira budget padding was detected in the budget, and there has been no scrutiny in that regard, there has been no accountability to the people, then you now wake up and you are saying that you want to go and borrow all this humongous amount of money. Could it be that you want to borrow this amount of money just so that people in government can be able to live a good life and can be able to steal the future of the Nigerian child to protect that of their own children? So you can see that Nigerians have a reason to be angry based on the level of accountability of the Nigerian government. So budget padding is there, and the exotic lifestyle of the Nigerian government. When President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was in Anambra State, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Chukwuma Soludo paraded a convoy of over 130 vehicles. There was a video when Oluremi Tinubu visited Delta State. She paraded a convoy of over 40 vehicles. If you see the exotic convoy of the Nigerian Senate President, so these people are living a life of luxury. The president got a jet for himself. The president decided to get an Escalade for himself. And you may want to imagine that what happened to the cars that Buhari was using. Is it that they were bad? So if you are saying that Nigeria doesn't have money, but you decide to go and buy Escalade for yourself, where does that leave us in terms of leadership? And if you look at it quite well, it is quite very sad, because if it is true, and I use the word if it is true that there's an infraction of over 7 trillion naira in the budget, if it is true, then it means that Nigerian politicians are heartless, because you will go and borrow all this money, you go and acquire all this foreign money to kind of like steal and embezzle and enjoy your life. But then again, must Nigeria borrow? If you like, call it loan. If you like, call it grant. If you like, call it aid. Must Nigeria acquire foreign funds? Must we seek funds from foreign land? No, because if the Bola Tinubu administration has restructured Nigeria the way APC promised when Buhari was coming into power, if Muhammadu Buhari, the restructuring that he promised, if he had fulfilled the promise, definitely Nigeria would have been earning more. And I will come to that in a moment. But let me talk about the political side of it. You see, APC is filled with some intelligent politicians. At the time they were promising restructuring, they know that that restructuring was a solution to Nigeria's problem. But they promised it, deceive Nigerians, and they didn't fulfill that particular promise. Else, Nigeria would have been way ahead now, because if you care to know, Nigeria has over 200 kind of like natural resources. Some of you don't know that clay, you know, that red soil in your village, that clay, you know, that red soil called clay is a natural resources, and I will explain it to you, but for what of time I won't be able to give you other instance. But let me just use that of clay. You see, in Italy there is a ceramics market, a global ceramics market, but then ceramics seems to be kind of like very expensive if you want to mold with ceramics. So people are using the option of clay. Same in China as well. So people are molding with clay. You know, when you mold with clay and you fire it, it becomes very thick and strong. So, and some of these countries, they don't have clay in their countries. The clay is not part of their soil. So some of these countries, they seek clay. So that means that clay itself is a natural resources, and Nigeria has clay in abundance. If you go to your village, in fact, clay is just messing up everywhere when rain falls. So you can see that if the Nigerian government have restructured the country such that the states are harnessing their resources, definitely we will have more money, and it will also help our political system in the sense that we'll be having different ragtags, scallywag, street urchin, you know, people that have no plan and be dreaming, people that have no plan and they'll be dreaming that they want to become Nigerian president. Some will be dreaming that they want to become governor. But if you know that you need to earn before you can be a governor, you need to earn your own resources yourself, not that you are getting free money from Abuja, definitely you will think twice before you decide to contest for public office. So you can see that restructuring is the aim. And like I said earlier, how long do we want to continue borrowing when we have these natural resources? But for the sake of political correctness, because some people, some ethnic groups, some region will say, no, we don't want this, we don't want that. Let us focus on oil. And if they know that if they do that restructuring, then they definitely, the Niger Delta state will be in control of the oil, same as Zamfara will be in control of the gold, and the states that have arable land will also be in control of their natural resources. So what I can say is that Nigeria needs to be very careful, because all this debt is unsustainable. And to President Bola Tinubu, stop giving with one hand and taking with another. It was reported that you paid $1.4 billion COVID-19 IMF loan, and now just few weeks after, you are going for 21.5 billion naira, you know, 22.1 billion euro, 15 billion Japanese yen, and so much more. Abba, let us be truthful with ourselves. I wish Nigeria the best. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode. Subscribe, turn on your notification button, catch up with my past videos. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.